three figures.
Yeah.
What's the slow start with him, or is it just the grind of the game? I don't get why he gets off to the slow start. He's like Andrew McCutchen in April.
I think again, there's many reasons. There's a lot of things that are going on here, a lot of things at play. The offensive line, again, certainly they're doing a good enough job. We're 2-0, aren't we? But at the end of the day, there are going to be areas that we need to improve. And, of course, the offensive line is going to be an issue for our passing game and our rushing game. Najee Harris, his numbers have been they've gone under the radar. They've been quiet rushing yards in his first 3 seasons. People don't – I mean, if you watch the game, you'll know. But people don't realize that he's had 1,000 yards in his first 3 seasons, and that's as good as anybody's done in the league since 2011, I do believe. So I think Najee is going to be Najee. I think Jalen Warren's going to keep getting his numbers, and he's going to do what he does. And this is just going to be the team that we're going to have to be moving forward. It's the team that we were in the past couple seasons. I don't see it being any different until we get your guy that you feel confident back there playing quarterback. This is going to be the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I do have a question about last week. We needed to get a first down. We needed to hand the ball off and run the clock out. Why did Cordero Patterson get the carries?
I just
4 carries randomly, didn't carry the ball all game long,
right.
And then they gave it to him 4 times.
I think that's what it was. They were just trying to run the game out. They were running the clock out, and they just wanted to give her a different look every now and then. Again, you could line up Najee Harris, run 3 straight plays up the middle. I think it was just the giving a different look. There was no real rhyme or reason to it. There was no it wasn't an indicator of anything. I just think that it was just another running back getting another run to run that clock down.
Why does he do that? Why does Arthur Smith have to outsmart people? Why can't you just put your best with the ball
right.
and see where the cards fall?
Yeah, no, I agree. But you know what? Maybe through the course of the game, that is a smart move. Again, you're plugging this. You're stopping Najee after 2 or 3 runs from him, and you know that's what's coming. We're running the ball. The Steelers are going to run at you. Throw in Patterson, throw in Warren, mix it up a little bit. It keeps the defense on their heels. Maybe something as simple as that.
All right, let's talk about the offensive line here. Dan Moore Jr., has he been doing a good job?
Dan Moore Jr. has been doing a fantastic job.
I think he had 1 penalty last week, but other than that, he's been doing a decent job. Anderson, he's been doing a good job.
Come on, for a guy that really hasn't started, he's doing a great job as well.
Before the season, I was asking you who the rookie of the year for the Steelers would be, and you had said Wilson, maybe Peyton Wilson was maybe your pick.
Yeah,
I think Peyton Wilson. Yeah, and that's a great pick. And I kind of said, well, he's not going to get any stats, but I like Zach Frazier. And it has nothing to do with him going to WVU. It really does. It has to do with his wrestling background. And I think if you're a center and you are the 4-time state champion in wrestling, you know how to use your hands, you know how to use your legs, you know how to keep your body weight centered. I don't think the learning curve would be that tough if he didn't have that wrestling background. So I think Zach Frazier is doing a fantastic job. Daniels at right guard's been okay. And what's going on at right tackle? Do we know what's going on? We started 2 different guys.
I know. Well, I think you're still going to probably see Dan Moore at left tackle for now. You're probably going to see Fatanu at right tackle moving forward. Of course, we're going to see him some more. And then also, I did get news that Isaac Seumalo, he's looking good, and he's expected to be on time as far as his return. So, no matter
what is that, like a couple more games out?
A couple more weeks. So, once we get him, you get your most experienced lineman in there. So hopefully these changes are going to start making changes for the better for the Steelers.
All right, Ryan. Well, the throw's coming from left field. We're headed home. We've got another 12 minutes left here. You guys don't go anywhere. You've been listening to WBVP 99.3 FM and 1230 AM. We'll be right back to One Man's Opinion on Sports.
Looking for a fall activity for your children? Pass and score your way into the Beaver County YMCA's Youth Soccer League. The league will teach the basic fundamentals of soccer. There will be 1 practice a week teaching drills and skills. This soccer league is for kids ages 5 through 12 and runs from September 10th to October 19th. Registration is already open. To register, go to beavercountyymca.org.
Want the ultimate cigar experience? Fat Boy Cigars Premium Tobacco Shop and Smoking Lounge is located off of 376 in Center Township. Fat Boys Cigars offers all your cigar needs with an assortment of some of the finest cigars, including small batch boutique cigars and over 21 aromatic pipe tobacco blends and accessories. Stop and see their luxurious lounge accommodations. Book them for your next event. Visit their social media page for a list of event dates and times. Welcome to the Fat Boys world, Beaver County.
Being part of a credit union is like being part of a team where everyone plays and, more importantly, everyone wins. This is Cindy Hiladio for Friendly Federal Credit Union. If you need a loan, it's game time. Visit Friendly Federal Credit Union in Baden-Neuerl-Quippa. Follow us on Facebook or Twitter or click friendlyfcu.org. Member NCUA Equal Housing Lender.
Friendly Federal Credit Union. You got a friend.
At Geneva College, your academic experience will prepare you with exceptional expertise in your chosen field. But what you'll learn is so much more than just that. Integrating faith and learning, you'll grow to see God's purpose and calling in your life's work. You'll be challenged to imagine how the world around you could be different and what your part might be in making that difference. You were made to live courageously. Visit geneva.edu today.
The views and opinions expressed on WBVP and WMBA are those of the participants and host. They are not necessarily the viewpoint of WBVP and WMBA, its staff, management, and advertisers. Thank you for listening to WBVP and WMBA.
Now, back to One Man's Opinion with Bryan Paquale.
All right, welcome back to One Man's Opinion on Sports with me, Bryan Paquale. I'm in the studios here with Ryan Garazunas at the St. Barnabas Studios. Make sure you check us out here on Beaver County Radio Facebook Live and Beaver County Radio YouTube. If you'd like to chime in, we've got a few minutes left, so 724-843-1888 or 724-774-1888. Before we get into the final few minutes of Steelers, I'd like to give a shout-out. Make sure you check out Ryan and his co-host Mike Mueller every Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. till noon on YouTube. That's Two Dumb Yinzers. They talk Steelers, Pirates, Penguins, and much, much more. Also, check out One Man's Opinion on Sports with me on YouTube. Don't confuse it with the radio show. That is two separate things. I am on YouTube. I had a TJ Watt video today that I posted. It's really good. Go check it out. Like it, subscribe, and check that out. Also, more importantly, Wednesday's today. Sunday morning at 11 a.m., Ryan and I will be live for 1 hour for the Steelers pregame. So that's Sunday morning at 11 a.m. You can check that out on One Man's Opinion live on YouTube or Two Dumb Yinzers live on YouTube. All right, Ryan, we have 10 minutes left. Let's get into the X's and O's of the game.
Yeah.
We're both predicting another boring, scrappy game. Is that what we're predicting? Hopefully we win the field position and the turnover battle. Is that the goal?
Absolutely. You got to win the turnover battle. You have to eliminate penalties. There's a lot of basic fundamental things that the Steelers by themselves has to do. But again, they have referees in extra this week at practice. Hopefully that could help with things. Don't turn the ball over. I think they win, Brian. I do. I think they win. It's probably going to be like a 20-16, maybe something like this.
So we have a pregame show. We're going to talk and hype this game up, and then the game's going to be so boring that they're going to be going back and watching the show. Is that what's going to happen?
Yeah.
While they put it on sound and it's in the background.
Exactly.
They wait till Boswell trots out there to kick 3 points.
Right.
What do you think about Washington's touchdown?
I loved it. I'm a big fan of Mount Washington. I was hoping that he would get one, and he did. He got the only touchdown of the season. Again, here we are, Game 3, kicking off Sunday afternoon. We only have one touchdown.
How many field goals do we have?
6 in the first game, and a couple in the 8 altogether.
8.
Okay.
I wasn't throwing up gang signs there.
I was scared.
It wasn't like West Side and West Side. It was 4 and 4.
Okay.
Because I only have 5 fingers on each hand. So
fortunately, we have one of the better field goal kickers in the league, so that certainly helps.
I think we have the best.
Do you really?
Is he better than Gary Anderson?
No, not yet.
Does he have potential to get there?
Yes, absolutely. Gary Anderson, he just played forever. And also, you got to remember, during the Gary Anderson years, the 80s into the early 90s, the offense was very similar to what it is now. It was a stagnant offense. You were between Terry Bradshaw and you were between, Bill Cowher kind of coming in and changing the culture in Pittsburgh. But there was a lot of years that it was Gary Anderson and nothing else.
And Louis Lips.
Bubby Brister, you know, I mean, a lot of times
Woodson left. I mean, Woodson was there for a little bit of that,
Yeah.
and then he left. Yeah, I mean, that was it. You had Louis Lips,
It was
Rod
few and
Woodson
far
for some of it,
between.
and Gary Anderson. That was it.
It was few and far between on those 80 Steelers
Yeah,
teams.
I believe we were talking the other day about how when we were growing up, that's all we heard about. We're the city of champions. You know, we won 2 World Series, 4 Super Bowls. And then my dad's like, all right, let's get down to the games. And we get down to Three River Stadium, and I had to watch like Bubby Brister and Mark Malone play.
Yeah.
I was like, what the heck happened here?
You're watching. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I was the same way. And you know what? As we kids, it kind of forced us to pick like alternative teams because the Steelers were so bad our whole childhood, you know? And so
Yeah, I like the Dolphins, but that was just because of Dan Marino.
Right. And a lot of people did, actually. I know guys from my neighborhood that was the same way. They were Dolphins fans because of Dan Marino.
Yeah, I'm trying to. What other teams did you like other than the hometown teams in football?
I liked the Minnesota Vikings as a kid.
I liked them when Randy Moss went there. I wasn't a kid, but
It was earlier for me. It was a Herschel Walker. Herschel Walker was in the backfield. I think Anthony Carter, not Chris Carter. Anthony Carter was their wide receiver. Guys like that. So it was earlier on for me, but the Vikings were kind of my adopted team.
what about baseball?
I like the Mets. I was a Mets fan as a kid.
Yeah, I like the Mets. Doc Gooden,
Yeah.
Darryl Strawberry, 2 of my favorite players of all time. Yeah, I mean, you have the Pirates, and they were that. But what about hockey? Did you ever like any other hockey team?
I never did, no.
Yeah, I've only liked the Penguins, and that's it. I literally every other team, I don't like you.
Yeah, you're right. You know what? I tried every now and then, but again, I just always come back to saying, you know what? If I'm not watching the Penguins, I don't care.
Now, what about the NBA? Because we all had our favorite teams growing up, but every once in a while, and I think they stopped doing it, but Cleveland would play a game, preseason game down here to, I think, try to like bridge the gap, get like our fans. Were you ever like a Cleveland NBA fan?
No, I was an Orlando Magic fan growing up, but I do recall those
Really?
games. Yeah.
Penny and Shaq?
Nick Henderson,
And
Dennis
Horace
Scott,
Grant?
Horace Grant, the whole deal. But yeah, I do recall the games. They would come down and play. I could recall one year there was a Chicago and a Philadelphia game that was played down in Civic Arena. I wanted to go so bad I wasn't able to. I don't remember what happened. I didn't go. But I was a huge Magic fan.
Yeah. See, I was a Bulls fan, and then I became a Pacers fan. I was a huge Reggie Miller fan, but I liked the Georgetown Hoyas. When they would play the Pitt Panthers, it was the best because you'd have to go down to the Civic Arena at the time.
Yeah.
They wouldn't play at the field house. They would, it was a big game, so I'd get on there. I got to see Dikembe Mutombo and Alonzo Mourning play.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That it was fun times. I do recall going down to the Civic Arena. We went down. I could recall a Syracuse game. You remember a gentleman named Mobley, I think, that played for Syracuse. A buddy of mine and I went down, and we were kids. I remember his dad took us down to the arena and drop us
name
off.
Sounds familiar, very familiar. Mobley.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll look into it, but I definitely been down there for those games as well in the arena.
All right, but then we've always been the Steelers fans, even through the 80s, right?
Absolutely.
We've been the Steelers fans through the Cordell era.
Yeah.
We've been fans through the Ben era, despite Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown's best efforts to scare fans away. And we are now in the post-Ben Roethlisberger era. We have a Hall of Fame quarterback on our team who gets participation game balls for not even participating.
Yeah.
And our quarterback got ran out of Chicago, and Justin Fields.
Yeah, that's about where we're at. Let me ask you, now you mentioned a lot of quarterbacks. Who was the one that you thought was going to be the one? You know how it's time
Like a Steeler quarterback?
Yeah, you're thinking, okay, we need a quarterback. Well, this guy, he's going to be it. I got 2 of them, 2 guys that I thought was going to be, which I was very wrong. If you want me to go first, I will.
Yes.
Neil O'Donnell. Now,
Okay, yeah, I mean, he was going to be on my list. He was probably the top ahead.
Because they went from being bad for very long, and I think it was more the culture.
He was solid.
He was solid. It was more of the culture change by Bill Cowher, I think, that really changed the way that team was. But Neil O'Donnell, I thought he was going to be the next one for us. And also, early in the 2000s, after Cordell, I thought Tommy Maddox, just by the way he was able to come in and move the ball around the field, I thought he was going to be the guy. But unfortunately, neither of those guys were it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess those are my 2 answers because those are the first 2 that came to mind. I was like, okay, they're above average.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right? I mean, because the rest of them, Cordell might have been, I don't know, you take the good, the bad.
Right.
But I knew for a fact, and I want to say he was a Brown maybe, Kent Graham.
Ken Graham, yeah. He came from the Giants.
I knew he was not Do you remember we had a field goal to win a game and he took a sack because he was like a statue at the end of the game, and then I believe Cordell Stewart went back in as the starter after that, week 3.
And I remember hearing Kent Graham's name when he was coming from the Giants and thinking, okay, we have a name. We have somebody coming here. And boy, he was bad.
He was really bad.
He was really bad.
You know who my favorite backup of all time is? Bryan St. Pierre.
Okay.
Boy, could that guy hold a clipboard.
He was out of Boston College, a flat-footed guy, if I'm remembering
I don't
right.
remember him ever taking any snaps unless it was a kneel down or a handoff at the end of the game. But boy, he was the best back. A lot of people talk about Charlie Batch, hometown guy, went in, won us some games. But I mean, nobody pointed out how well or bad you did when you came off to the sidelines than Bryan St. Pierre.
No, I did. He was always back there. He was always the number 3, and you didn't have any problem. But yeah, I get it.
Yeah. All right. Well, we have our backup in. We are one play away from having Cal Allen as our quarterback. What if you were like, you know what? I want to see Justin Herbert and I want to see Russell Wilson. Steelers home opener. I'm buying tickets on the 50-yard line, and I'm spending $2,000 per ticket for me and my family. So that's $4,000 out the window. And then it's Justin Fields versus Easton Stick.
You know what I mean? I'm okay. Again, Justin Fields. I mean, these are people that I want to see. I want to see this guy play. That's okay with me. The Russell Wilson thing doesn't really bother me. The Easton Stick. This is what I really want to see this weekend in Pittsburgh. If Easton Stick is under center for San Diego, or Los Angeles, I'm sorry. I think
you can call him San Diego. I still call it the Washington Redskins. So you can call him the San Diego Chargers.
But I think that certainly plays to our advantage because Easton Stick is nowhere near as talented as Justin Herbert is.
Now, J.K. Dobbins, the beast of a running back for the Chargers, does he rush for over 120 yards versus Steelers?
I don't think so.
Okay.
That's the thing. I don't think he's going to run away with this game. Again, one more time, the Chargers faced the Carolina Panthers in the game before. It might have been the Raiders. I don't know who they opened up against. I want to say the Raiders.
Didn't the Raiders beat the Ravens?
They did.
But I kept telling my mom, I'm like, the Ravens are going to win. These Raiders stink. Yes. And then I looked up and I'm like, they won.
It was the Robert Spillane effect. But I really do, Brian. I think that I would rather see Easton Stick. I would take that one-dimensional offense with the running game, and I think our defense would do well enough.
Do they have any threats as wide receivers or tight ends?
They had a couple, but everybody left town. I can't recall the receivers, but I think their 2 starting receivers last year, they got shipped out. So I don't know really what they have in the past.
I don't know anything about these guys, but they all seem to get Van Jefferson numbers.
Yeah.
And it looks bad. So I think you load up against the run and you let Joey Porter go one-on-one with whomever you might think and just stack up against the run and get after Justin Herbert if he does play, because if he has a bad ankle, which I believe is, and you get maybe some hurries, you maybe get a sack, maybe tweaks it a little bit, and then I'm not saying I want him hurt, but if it's tougher for him to plant,
absolutely,
maybe he's got to throw that 20-yard pass and he can't get enough oomph on it.
Absolutely. And you got to look at the difference that makes, Brian. I know we're running out of time. The Kirk Cousins, early in the game, he was able to move the ball against the Steelers in week 1 for Atlanta.
Did you see him at the end of the game?
Once we started bringing it, once we started not letting him sit back there, we put him on the ground a couple times, that changes. We have to get to the quarterback if Justin Herbert's back there. Absolutely. But again, I think right now, as far as it looks, it looks like it's going to be a one-dimensional game. Let's pray and hope that Easton Sticks makes the start, and we'll go from there.
Well, last game, Kirk Cousins looked like Joe Montana at the end of the game.
Yeah.
I mean, he was just slinging it. All right, everyone, this was a great show. We appreciate you guys listening to us. I also want to make sure that you guys check out the Two Dumb Yinzers on YouTube tomorrow from 11 to 12. Also, Ryan and I will be on YouTube on the Two Dumb Yinzers YouTube channel or One Man's Opinion on Sports YouTube channel. Also, make sure you check out my YouTube post today. It is on TJ Watt, whether he's a Pro Bowl caliber guy or overrated. Make sure you check that out.
So you are taking the who on Sunday?
I'm taking the road team.
You're taking, okay. There you have it.
I just don't think we score enough.
Okay.
What about you?
I think the Steelers win. I think we go 3-0.
All right. Ryan likes us to go 3-0. We'll see you guys back here in 166 hours. You've been listening to WBVP 99.3 FM and 1230 AM.
You've been listening to One Man's Opinion on Sports with Bryan Paquale on Beaver County Radio. Don't forget, you can watch the show on WBVP-WMBA Facebook page anytime. Tune in next Wednesday from 5 to 6 p.m. for One Man's Opinion on Sports with Bryan Paquale. on Beaver County Radio.
The views and opinions expressed on WBVP and WMBA are those of the participants and host. They are not necessarily the viewpoint of WBVP and WMBA, its staff, management, and advertisers. Thank you for listening to WBVP and WMBA.
You're listening to 99.3 FM, presented by St. Barnabas, in addition to 1230 WBVP Beaver Falls.